of the draft.
Yeah, I've often felt that way too. Like I just see that Lich pick. Ugh. But the Liches, the Liches have been really powerful lately. So no matter how the lineups look on paper in the mid game, we do have to always keep in mind just how much the lanes can be thrown in for a loop by this Lit. Newbee still not really showing their overall strategy here. These picks, we just know they have a very annoying potential offlaner or support hero for the Nyx, and then you have strong lanes from. But strategy, bigger game plan, still very much unclear. Cloud9 starting to emerge. You know, they've got tons of nuke damage at this point through these first 3 picks. Veil is a value item for them. Obviously, they don't have a building hitter. They don't really have big pushing or late game hero yet, but you have to imagine be grabbing something like that for.
Jackie Mao has been playing a lot of Juggernauts for the first 2 games. Was paired with Lich, I believe, both games. And
Terrorblade obviously is an Envy special. I also think, like, you know, taking the Zeus is maybe in part protecting a potential TB pick. Zeus is probably the single best.
Another one of his very common pick is the Bristleback. Maybe that's the reason why we are seeing so many Lich. Like, he's just kind of good against some of the more common picks nowadays. Bristleback in particular, a lot of his damage output will be limited by the Frost armor.
10 seconds.
Snagged up by Newbee. This has also been a very popular pick. Obviously,
5 seconds remaining.
Frosty prize on top. Chronospheres. Got things covered there. Team fight is certainly secure for Newbee. Cloud9 obviously great in own right. But still, the laning setup is open for discussion here. Is this a Void? Is it an off Nyx? Is it a safe lane Void? We've certainly seen a fair amount of that. It's still, to me, unclear how they want to set this up. And most importantly, perhaps, life is the Lich. So many lives to ruin, but only one lane to go to at a time.
Many people will be put into, what's the bottomless pit? Is that the how the lore goes? Put them in his coffin?
The bottomless pit.
Yeah. The one thing that is for sure is that a lot of the teams coming out from China, your LGDs, your LFYs, they love the pairing of Faceless Void plus Ancient Apparition. We've seen that earlier today by LFY, but Faceless Void plus the Lich Ultimate is also a very potent combo. We are going to see Night Stalker coming out from Cloud9.
So it is, well, actually, yeah, so support
Night Stalker.
Five seconds remaining.
It's a 5-position Zeus.
Cloud9.
Yeah, I guess it could be. Okay, so I think it's Fada Puck.
There we go.
Ah, the Shamble of Bones.
Yep.
This is the undead strand. Fogda's here, Lich is here. Just need a White Walker to round this thing out. But yeah, so it looks like probably a Fada Puck, support Zeus Night Stalker, and then. But I mean, again, I'm just. Yeah, I'm spitballing here, Libby. They could certainly put, you know, other heroes in the offlane. A lot of flex picks for Cloud9.
So right before this game, I was checking on some of the hero statistics, and Night Stalker coming into this tournament is one of the highest picked heroes. You pick him kind of first phase always, or first phase ban rather. And he's currently like 1 in 5 or 1 in 4 in this tournament. So that to me reflect how teams are kind of evaluating this hero, and moving forward, maybe this hero you're not going to first phase him anymore. Cloud9 definitely is kind of delaying their picks.
Yeah, I love the Pugna as far as shoring up a lot of Newbee's issues this game. They do not have much push. The Pugna helps with that. The ward is amazing against many of these heroes. However, it's squishy, and Cloud9 have a lot of good heroes at jumping him. Lots of good burst damage from the Zeus, good initiation from all 3 of the other supporting casts. So, like, on paper, the Pugna feels like it could either be amazing or a complete feeding train wreck, and I'm curious to see.
I think Pugna as a hero, Pugna as a hero always feels like that, right? Like, he could have the Superman game that we just casted. Super went like 13-2 by the end of the game, or you could just be like 0-7 by 10 minutes because he is so squishy. So laning will be a telling tale of how the game will go.
All right, so make the final selection. It is the Bristle boss, so now you've got the Pugnacini green goodness that keeps him healthy. And by the way, how the hell is Pug?
He's got them horns, dude.
I guess it's
the pop collars.
I think they're like supposed to be in. like a V formation here, like Bristleback's actually behind.
Okay,
but
okay.
I'm not sure.
Yeah, well, I'm not
But even
sure
so, I mean, the guy's like 2 feet tall. Surely he's not bigger than a giant porcupine mutant.
Is Puck considered also very tall, or is he just cheating?
He's definitely floating.
Final pick here for Cloud9. Oh, we are gonna be in for a long one.
Oh boy.
But here's the thing, Pugna is well equipped dealing with Naga illusions. You get the Ags on him, he's got no problem.
So the real question is, did Newbee grab some caffeine before this match? Because they might need it. Of course, I feel like Newbee could potentially be well prepared to deal with this type of strategy, Lumi, because they've got heavy push here. Bristleback, a great frontline sieger. Pugna, good at bringing those towers down quickly. And then a supporting cast that can hopefully find those pickoffs and set up for the push. You also have Frost Armor, so if it comes to like trying to split push or trade for Cloud9, that's going to be tough going, especially with the reduced damage that elude nowadays.
They are good at grouping up and kind of pushing into your base, but are they good at dealing with illusions cutting in the wave in the back?
Pugna with an eggs.
Yeah.
But then you
Pugna
also...
with the BOTs and Ags.
Pugna with eggs, BOT, and like a blink or something, so you can really get around fast.
I mean, Kaka, in theory, should be able to find MV and then pop his Spike Carapace, get off a stun, and set off an initiation on him. But MV has played against this particular catch for a long time, so don't be surprised if he turns off his Radiance from time to time to maneuver around the map and not get caught by a Spike Carapace gank.
Man, so thought it was going to be an Sccc Pugna, now they're all swapping around, so Newbee trying to hide their cards as long as possible. But here we go, Cloud9 certainly looking for a win. They had a tough opponent to start the day off with OG. Overall thoughts, Lumi, on that? I guess first of all, you know, how do you see like the timings and the kind of the game plans for these teams, big picture, and then, you know, perhaps more importantly, who do you think has the edge?
I think Newbee definitely has the edge. They have, to me, a more kind of concrete game plan. Just do well in the lane and then just push, put a lot of pressure. And I feel like this Cloud9 lineup takes a long time to come online. It is a Naga lineup to begin with, and also you have a 5-position Zeus support that doesn't offer much of anything. It's not great at laning, it's not great for the early skirmish and fights. The Sand King, to me, is going to have to do a lot for Aoi. We'll see if he's able to do so.
Well, it's Greed with a capital EE to get this game one started. Newbee, meanwhile, looking for a bit of a more stable lineup. They are going to ultimately choose to have Sccc take the Bristleback, and it's going mid. At least for now, be showing himself up towards the top lane.
30 seconds.
Lane adjustments here. We were seeing a lot of the Bristle mid. The safe Pugna, though, that's something we haven't really seen in a long time. I think TI4 era, the safe lane Pugna was very popular, actually, because you could pull, get the double wave with the catapult, and then push your safe lane tower super hard, but I can't recall having seen a whole lot of it. So.
You know, TI4 era, anything that could push is a very popular pick.
Yes,
because
by the end of the tournament,
yeah.
That's true.
Well, this is one of the advantage of having a safe lane, or rather a support Zeus, because he could just start walking around bolting, and he does find one of the wards on the bottom. He will tangle it immediately. And
not going to be a 5 position for long.
Yeah. He knows that this is also blocked, so he's going to just bolt it. Highlight die.
Save that money on...
Pops off a very early clarity.
Are you trying to put ideas in?
We are actually mind-linked. So
mind-linked?
He's already got the idea.
Well, better be mind-linked to Pi, I think, than it. Might go a little crazy if I
Scientists are baffled. He does have a clarity going. I'm not sure exactly for what, but he is full away.
All right, so let's see how these lanes are shaking out. They are initially putting the Lich bottom. I know that's something we were curious about. Faith getting aggressive here. So it is the Void Lich dual lane up against an unconventional Zeus Naga. Mid lane is going to be a Puck versus Bristle, and then in the off lane, the double melee cluster of MSS and Aoi matching up against the safe lane Pugna. Do you favor either laning setup here? Any adjustments you would want to see?
To me, I think the Sand King is very stranded. What lane is he actually going to have an impact? He can't really zone out Kaka. He can't really roll mid and set off ganks. So to me, he's just leeching the experience at the top lane. Maybe once the first Nightfall comes, MSS roams off the lane and he could get a little bit of experience. But Sand King to me is the MVP early on for Cloud9 because he needs to actually kind of tie the early game together for Cloud9, and I don't think he's able to do so given the lane matchups.
We're giving out MVP awards already?
Rather, he's the most important player for the team. Meanwhile, in the jungle, two support.
Man fight! Man fight! Faith takes it.
One person into the bottomless pit.
Get in the coffin.
There you go.
Actually, this set, is that a coffin? That's more of like a tarp. This lich doesn't like getting wet, I guess. Nicely done there. And really unfortunate when, as you mentioned, you are a hard support Zeus. Things looking good early for Newbee in the off lane. Bristleback
middle.
as well in the mid lane, and that is going to change as Aoi drives by, finds the kill with the haste turn.
Proving me wrong immediately. I was thinking that he can't actually force a kill mid, but it looks like Vado was able to do a very good job at kind of driving him low enough to make that burrow strike with a haste turn for a kill.
KP playing pretty aggressively here on Envy, who is struggling in the farm department as you'd expect against the Lich. Yes, thus far, and when you've got a lineup that's quite greedy, Lumi, like often you want the Naga to have that good start so she gets, the early radiance, and then she kind of creates space for the rest of the team to farm by pushing the lanes out, but the longer it takes Envy to come online, the longer, his comrades are really going to suffer here and struggle to find their own.
Yeah. Also, it's not just about the last hits. Naga's level is actually quite critical as well. Getting to level 12 to have more access to the Song of the Siren, to escape gangs and stuff like that is very key as well. He's supposed to be the quote-unquote counter to KP's Chronosphere, right? So him getting the more usage out of his song is absolutely critical for them winning this game.
Despite the death, that's Triple C. Still doing all right in the mid lane. Kaka is getting a bit pressured. But in good news for Newbee, Mugi is doing just fine. This is the nice thing about the Nyx. He's a good damage sponge and frontliner for that. Very, very squishy. Up Sunday on the mid lane. Triple C, but he's got the 2 points of Bristleback now. It'll be pretty tanky. It's bottom lane where Envy takes a bit of a hit. Faith just constantly canceling these clarities with Twilight dying. I think he's able to like 3 or 4 of them at this point. Very mana dependent, starved even, until Envy is able to, I don't know, at least get the Aquila. He's really good. Topped off.
As the lanes kind of settle in like this, I'm just wondering how Cloud9 could actually, stay on even footing. Bottom lane, Envy's having a tough time. He's actually racing towards a rune here. Faith is going to deny it, and now Envy caught in a very awkward spot. SC's coming in. He doesn't have Nasal Goo just yet, but the body blocks are coming out. Paparazzi trying to rescue his friend.
This Lich just man-moding into 2 heroes, trying to body block for his Bristleback. Lich is a new and revitalized force in the modern game of Dota. How often do you see that? Old Lich is like you're running for your life, you're feeding, you're scared. This Lich has no fear. While top lane, action breaking out as Aoi gets caught almost under tower. TP cancelled. Nighttime now, so MSS starting to make his roaming movements. I imagine they might just give this lane to Aoi, let MSS try and pressure elsewhere, but who do you gank?
Newbee knows that he's out of mana, so they're not really even afraid. He does have a Mango, but
it's almost shrine time if he wants to. Pretty big investment. The only one that he only really needs to come off.
Well, Fata is going to prep up the mid gank, I suppose, by driving SC's HP relatively low. And they do have a smoke, so they're likely going to pop it and go straight mid.
Roaming through the river, hoping to find somebody on their lonesome. Might want to scout this Ancient camp as well, see if there's any stacks for the Bristle, and they'll find there's nothing.
Puck at 6.
Now looking to descend on the mid lane where Faith has set up shop. They do have Frost Armor on Sccc, but his HP's low enough that maybe they can nuke him down. Keep in mind though, he does have raindrops.
Newbee already knows they pop down low ground, and this ward has scouted out the entire rotation.
And nobody's showing top either.
Yeah.
It's already being called. So Mugi now can more aggressively push this tower. Precious Nighttime being wasted. It is buying a little space for Envy, I suppose, over bottom as he looks to catch up, but still KP outstripping him in the CS department, and they start to descend. Moving on to Sccc, Faith's out in front. Nightstalker flapping over the trees, tries to lock down onto that Lich. Will he get to the shrine? No, the coil's committed. Huge drop from Cloud9 just to take down a lowly Lich, and now revenge is what Sccc after, chasing forward with the quills. Chews him up, spits him out, takes out the Sand King. Pretty awful trade for Cloud9 when you also consider time investment and the coil drop.
For sure. Again, Newbee knew the gank was coming. Double frost armor up on all of the heroes. They're so tanky. And SC now has an invis, takes the bounty rune, and he's looking to set up a gank perhaps on Envy. Envy's only level 4. Man, the Lich effect is strong.
Faith is the same level. KP well on his way to 6, and they might just make a move here on Envy. Sccc's got the invis. Envy has the TP. Goes for it now, but
bash?
Give me a bash! Give me a bash! No, KP. Your prayers are not answered. Meanwhile, top lane Mookie almost got picked off. Did barely TP out in the nick of time. By the way, while all that was happening, the Pugna effect was quietly creeping in as this top tier 1 down to less than 2 health, it looks like. So heavy structural damage done, and once that tower falls, the way to rotate towards mid and really assume Roshan control lies open for Newbee. So these early towers are being pressured, and I think Lumi, you know, what we were touching on earlier, that is really the fulcrum of the Newbee game plan. They have to take early towers, establish map control, and limit Cloud9 space to farm. And so far, it feels like they're on track to doing it.
Yeah. One of the ways that Cloud9 can make an eventual comeback, and I'm talking about like 25, 35 minutes into the game, is the Roshan pit. When you have the Naga Siren as a hero, you can just pretty much stop any Roshan that's happening on the other side, or just do it yourself with the Psalm Siren backup. And I think that's, I mean, Cloud9 always love to sneak Rosh and stuff like that.
Gonna forfeit this tower bottom. So 1 down, 2 to go, and one of those quite low as mentioned. With the Chronosphere ready, might just see Newbee make a move soon. It's also daytime now. This feels like the most opportune possible moment to try and make a play. There they go. Chain Frost isn't ready yet. I guess that's the one big thing they're missing here, but they bring 3 to mid and begin to group up.
Lugido already pressuring the bottom tower. Level 7, obviously working towards that Aether Lens. Pretty standard build.
I think he's just going to come mid. It looks like they're going to 4-man tower, and I mean, really, can Cloud9 do much about it? There's no blink on Puck yet. There's no Song of the Siren setup available. Feels like just another free tower for Newbee.
They do see Kaka, and they have all their abilities, but who cares if you kill a Nyx Assassin at this point, right? You're not going to stop the push.
Kaka also dropped a ward, so he might catch somebody moving in. Veil is ready for Fana. Big pickup for Cloud9. And they make something happening. Try, they commit the darkness. They look for the flank. It's MSS from the rear, but Newbee, they retreat as a squad of 4. They leave the bristle top, so again, the pressure on structures is consistent that Newbee have either, you know, one of their cores just hitting a tower, the other 4 working together elsewhere on the map, and Cloud9 really can't stop this. Maybe MSS can at least hit some creeps in the meanwhile, get experience, but it's not going to be able to keep the bristle off the tower. Last hit, 2 down, 1 to go as the tier 1s crumble.
I mean, this tower is already dead, right? They will have a glyph available. Chronosphere on the back line here, and they're going to try to burn down Pylai Die. He is a freebie. Coil's going to get used. Kaka might be in a little bit of trouble, but I think they are going to lose a Sankey as well. Aoi's going to get stunned up here. They will burst him down. 2-for-1 trade. MSS needs to get out there right now.
That was without Sccc. Now he joins the fray. Fada slightly missing on the orb, not able to bring down the Lich, who continues to stay alive. Now MSS on the run. Pylai Die gets the finish. Sccc diving deeper and deeper. He really wants MSS. Does he dare reach high ground for it? No, he's going to back down. The critical hour elsewhere. Envy coming in from behind, wants to deal with KP. Tries to slow him down, nukes him decently, but there's the time walk back to safety. He's going to grab this regen rune, will be almost instantly canceled, but he does end up getting away. So in the end, not too bad for Cloud9. They hold the tower, and they don't completely fumble the team fight. It looked like they were going to lose like maybe 2 more heroes there, but managed to scrape it out.
You know, I found it very surprising that Newbee decided to start off the team fight with Chronosphere, because all they had to do is just sit behind the Pugna and blast off that tier 1 tower with Pugna. But instead they choose to take a fight. It was chaotic, and as a result, not only did they not win the fight clearly, they also didn't get the tower.
And if you want to... Oh, nice Carapace in the top lane, setting up here on AUI 2000.
Nice.
Oh, just the second... I didn't see if it was the Caustic or the Sandstorm, but
yeah,
one of them procced. He just instantly Carapace.
He spiked the Caustic off a creep kill. That was nicely timed.
So, yeah, I mean, that's a great point that you're making about the way they approach that push. Also, if you want to take that fight and dive, you really should have the Bristle there. Like, he's the dream hero in that type of prolonged engagement.
Right.
I do want to point out items, Lumi. Sccc is going straight for a pipe. This is an amazing pipe game.
Yeah, he's got a hood already. KP, interestingly, has also got a hood. How many times do you see Faces Void first item hood? But
Pipe is so good. Like,
Yeah.
what physical damage does Cloud9 have? Naga is a magic damage carry. Puck has no drow or anything to really boost up his right click. So
this is an
unless
entirely
Nightstalker's
magic
getting an armlet
Yeah.
and going carry, which it doesn't seem like, Pipe is the end.
All right, Kaka is going to get caught out. Puck coming in here as well. And this should be a kill. Nice picks.
And what do you know? Perfect timing to hit the shrine as well. So is an opportunity now for Cloud9 to try and make their second round of moves. But you know, whenever it's daytime and once these pipes are complete, Newbee is going to group up and start going for those bigger objectives, the tier 2s.
Yep.
Maybe the Roshan. Meanwhile, Envy, only 1,200 gold. I mean, sometimes you'll see Nagas like 2/3 or more of the way to their relic, or even having it in a really good game at this point. He still has a lot of catch-up.
Puck was able to steal a couple of the creeps from Messi, but not going to slow him down too much. The one, I guess, silver lining here for Cloud9 fans, hold that thought here as Lich going to get run down, is the fact that even though Newbee is good at pushing, they're not good at pushing fast, right? Like the Pugna Blast take a while to actually wear down a tower, and every bit of time for a Naga lineup is super, super important.
Let me ask you something. Speaking of the Pugna and the pushing, like we saw a very different build from Super.
Yes.
In last game, you went BOT Rush. Do you like the Aether Lens and the Ags better, or what are your thoughts on like the right way to edge Pugna?
Aether Lens always to start off, like that's always the right item. I think I like the BOT because they are allowed to push back so many waves, and you know that Naga is going to be splitting you, but at the same time having Ags available is also good dealing in Naga. I think the order doesn't matter too much. Chrono.
Oh, he's going to find Fada. Can't phase shift that for long as the stun comes through. Looking for the follow-up with the blast, the drain. They get the kill. Newbee take the puck down, and the way to the 2 lies open. This is a crucial objective for establishing Roshan control, and I don't know that Cloud9 can fight it without that puck. They also don't have Blink of Sand King yet. Song is ready, but it seems Cloud9 are more content to just stall for now and try and do a bit of split pushing in their own.
Yep. To answer your question, as long as Pugna gets both of those items, he should be fine. I don't think the order matters too much. And actually having the extra stats here for the push is pretty critical, so you get off a couple more blasts.
Yeah, you get the plus 225 talent, and nobody is going on this Pugna, especially not with Frost Armor. He's actually very tanky.
Yeah.
So.
Frost Armor and possibly double pipe, eventually.
It's kind of like the strategy that we saw from LFY previously, where they picked Lich, and then they just built BKBs, and it's like, well, you know, we already did a Dragon Knight, right? So just Dragon Knight with Frost Armor. You don't really want to get physical damage heroes against him. Your nuke heroes can't do anything against the BKBs. Like, this double pipe is kind of the same idea.
Yeah.
Newbee are going for the invincible to all damage strategy, but obviously not at that point yet. That's just the mindset with these items. Basically ensure Cloud9 can't really do anything.
Have you noticed the way that Pi has been using his ultimate? He's basically been using it every time off cooldown to give Eternal Envy vision. He's doing some next level routing. He's spotted right now.
Oh, speaking of which,
he uses Song and
hey,
get the hell out.
How you doing? They're gonna catch him out here. Blast coming through. He gets up the Song, but the ward zapping him. Carapace was attempted there by Kaka, but
and they get off a kill top. So that might look like a very curious play. Scientists might have been baffled, but let's look at the result, right? He got 4 people's attention at next to the enemy tier 2. They're able to pick off a kill simultaneously and force out Glyph and damage tier 1 top. That is true space creation for Cloud9.
All according to the plan for Chairman Mao. But now Song's on cooldown for 2 minutes, and Pipe is ready. So I imagine if you're Newbee, looking for that next big objective.
This might be a good time to go into the Roshan pit if they have a Medallion of Courage. It does not seem like they do. And so maybe just get the lanes pushed. But Cloud9 doing a very excellent job keeping the pressure up on all lanes. And this is where you go back to the Pugna and say, you know, maybe having BOTs will be somewhat better for this phase of the game. Making sure that you don't get pressured in from the side.
Yeah, keep your farm up, helps push some of these waves. And
again, Zetsuso goes off pretty much on cooldown every single time, just vision. Scouts out a smoke gank, so they're not going to get surprised. A very different way of playing Zeus from what you're traditionally seeing as the KS machine.
I mean, this is why the old Cloud9, back even when they had Bone7 on the team, like picked the hero. It was purely for the vision, not at all for the damage. But Fada could be in trouble here. Kaka trying to get in range. Goes for the initial hit, and then the stun follow-up comes through. It's only a level 2 phase shift, now locked down by the Chrono. Crucial pick, they lob in the chain thrust. No escape for Fada. Huge commitment, but hey, Zon's on cooldown still for a minute, so Chrono and the chain frost will be at least halfway up by the time that... Slowing down Fada, who's the mid-game tempo controller, obviously very nice for Newbee, but more importantly, they need to take these towers.
They do.
That is on the menu now. That's tier 2 bottom about to fall.
But look at top for Cloud9. They were able to do a little bit of ratting themselves. They're not going to get the tower, but that's a TP back here from Newbee, delaying the further push. How are we doing on the Radiance? Oh my god. Jackie Mao is so far away. 2800 on Naga Siren.
I was wondering if Sccc might get his Radiance at the same time, but he just bought another Rain of Health, so it looks like he's actually going back for a ban.
Okay.
It would have been pretty funny if the Bristle goes, you know, pipe first and still manages to meet the timing on the Radiance of the... Alright, so we've got a little room to breathe here for Cloud9, Lumi. Overall thoughts on the way the game's developing?
Pretty much as expected. We know that Cloud9 is not going to win the laning phase. We know they're not going to win the mid game. Just depends on how fast Jackie Mao can farm, whether he's going to get caught or not. And Cloud9 is counting on a couple of mistakes here from Newbee. They need Newbee to be careless. They need the puck as well as the Night Stalker to get 1 or 2 kills, stuff like that. And finally, Aoi has his Blink Dagger.
Quite slow, but be expected with the amount of roaming and early help that the team needed, and with the 5 positions so much. It's gonna lay out the Zeus ult, maybe try to lull Newbee, false sense of security, and that ult's down, but darkness is about to fall.
Yeah, Cloud9 popped the smoke. They want to actually see the positioning of the hero, see if they can actually poke in for a kill.
I don't think that's the duo you want to go on, though. If you take Carapace and then the Chrono comes out, you are done for. They think twice about jumping mid, and now
Roche is happening.
Roche is up. This is where Naga can shine. Has the TP ready, has the Shrine TP too. Definitely could look to contest here, but they're going to go in without the Zeus ult, so some big damage missing. It's a slow Roche, as you mentioned. There is no medallion, but Bristle certainly has the sustain to take it. Might take him a while, but he's going to force out the Pi TP. And now with Pi back at the well, still no Zeus ult for 45. This could be the time to just commit. Newbee smoked up and looking to make their move. They're going to find Fada on the high ground. Gets caught sleeping with his pants down and punished by Newbee. Was not prepared at all for that maneuver. They just came right out of it.
I think they just have to give up the Roche. Scan.
They then scan and they find MSS. They could get more.
Oh, Roche is dropping low. Naga still not making that TP. They're going to concede it. Maybe MSS could steal it with his flying. He flies over. The fly ends. That is going to be it for the Roche.
No, you say that, but Aoi wants to blink into the pit. No! Not the blink he was looking for. Chorus of Frogs marks the successful takedown of the road. Pretty. Newbee gonna have some time here. What are the next steps for Newbee? They got their Roche, they took the tier 2s, there's only one remaining top Lumi, they've built their core items. Is there any sort of timer in your mind? Is there any urgency? Are there certain things they're waiting on, or are they content just to take this one?
I definitely think that there is some urgency. You don't, because once the Radiance comes online, the game starts to get slightly harder. MV is able to cut and farm much, much faster. MSS, no Chrono here, so he should be fine.
God, that damage is dirty.
But I think the objective for Newbee here in the next 5 minutes is to push out the side waves and use that Aegis in some productive manner by pushing high ground. Damage tier 3, start blasting it. But it's hard. Look at what Naga's doing. This is where, again, the Pugna BOT is super, super useful. And he's going to go right back for it.
Everyone on Newbee just feels so unkillable right now, like at least as far as the cores go. You've got a Pugna with 1500 health and Aegis. You definitely don't want to go on him first. The Void has the hood, and it's actually made a big difference where he just doesn't seem that burstable. Nix and Carapace or Yules. If you jump him in, Bristle obviously is a tank. So, like, basically Lich is the only easy kill, relatively speaking. I just wonder where Cloud9 find that jump, and you can see they're hoping for one. They've got 3 descending on KP in the top lane. They get the silence off, they're going to drop the Void, and now try to commit forward. Owie gets him with the burrow, but he might just time walk it all up. They can't kill him. KP survives, and meanwhile the team is storming down mid. No epicenter for the high ground defense, no Zeus ult available either. It might be slow, but it's certainly steady, and with those Pugna Aetherless blasts laid into this tower, it begins to melt. Cloud9, this may have been a huge error, as Newbee are just going to take this tower down, almost finish it for free, and they'll still have time potentially to, after the glyph ends, go for the racks.
They can't focus on Mugi either because he's got the Aegis. So this is tough.
That's the thing is, you know, Newbee are...
Oh, Envy's going to get caught. Spike him.
Be disastrous for Envy. They're just waiting for the setup. The team's marching into position. They've got Mugi ready for the damage. They just need the Void to come in for the lockdown. Carapace comes through. They're going to stun him, control him, taser him down. The damage is out of this world. They get the kill again. So Envy's dealt with. The tier 3 is now been laid waste to in the middle lane. Newbee are up 9,000 gold at 23 minutes.
Yep.
Against a lineup that you called greedy, a lineup that needs to spend a lot of time farming, a lineup that needs a lot of items. They have nothing right now.
I mean, this game looks so Newbee favored, but at the same time, the sense of urgency is there. They know that they need to finish the game fast because you drag the game out long against a Naga, things could be ugly. Fata, nice face dodge, blink out.
Decent escape by Fata, but that's Sccc moving into position. He's almost got his relic. MSS flapping up to the high ground. All stalling tactics like Cloud9, just trying to be cute, trying to be very annoying and just prevent Newbee from grouping up, but courtesy of this Aghanim Scepter of Mugi, he can just instantly deal with those illusions that come near his team. Now giving the Zeus the pain train, the Mana Burn to Crep combo. Spells doom for the little man. And
wait, why is backdoor protection not up? The creep, there's no creeps, right?
They were there.
Okay, they're songing? Are they trying to... Okay, song to kill the ward.
They have epicenter, but Owie's not in position here. He's going to try to rev it up. A bit too late, though. Sccc has the pipe ready, pops it, keeps the team alive. The coil committed. Kaka gets off the Carapace. Now the Chain Frost is bouncing. Stun comes through. 3 are dead. Song's been blown. Chrono as well, looking for the Night Stalker. They'll bring him down, too. Cloud9 are crumbling, and Newbee surge forward onto the melee, but now backdoor protection is active.
But the creep wave's coming back in.
Saving the day for now.
The creep waves are coming in, so... Is this just game?
Yeah, pretty sure this is just checkmate.
I mean, that was a questionable engagement. Maybe Cloud9 felt like they had to engage there because, you know, the backdoor protection wasn't up and they just can't let Mugi just keep blasting like that.
I mean, you called it early in the at the end of the draft, Bloomy, at the beginning of the game. It's a pretty greedy lineup, and in fact, Newbee, they recognize that. They lane it properly, they itemize correctly to apply pressure, to poke at the weak points. They lane very well to just limit Envy's farm, and with Envy not being farmed, there's just no ability to stall. Feels like checkmate, and feels like Newbee and Cloud9 figured out as soon as the draft ended.
Yeah.
I don't feel like there were any like big individual misplays this game. It's not like, you know, someone played really poorly on Cloud9. I don't think Cloud9 could actually beat Newbee when they played correctly with this draft.
I agree. I think they needed Newbee to misjudge in terms of like how quickly Envy's farming or... Yeah.
Like you can point at a few small things, like they didn't really get the best saw on the epicenter, coil combo, like of course the execution wasn't perfect, but it wasn't, you know, so awful that it's like, oh well, if they fought properly, they could have done something different. So, well, not entirely over yet. They're now down 2 lanes of racks, and have to imagine with the next stage is Newbee, Jugular, and the Mega Creeps.
Fata's gonna try his best to keep this lane shoved in as much as he possibly can, and creep cut once the creep wave makes it past him. It's gonna make it annoying for his enemy, but not sure how much he could do beyond annoyance.
Owie on a deep wardy mission here. Could get punished though. Kaka is going to set it up. Now they drop in with KP. They get the Decrepify. They give him the sucky, and now he's on the run. Kaka looking to hound him, finish him off. KP also on the chase.
Space created, dude.
Yeah, it's a lot of space. KP says, too much for my liking. Chrono for you, sir.
I mean,
it's the kill, but an expensive one.
Look at Fata though. He's hitting your tier 3, right?
Easy.
Space created.
Easy. Yeah, those BOTs for the Pugna, definitely in order now. I think Mugi's recognizing that they need that extra mobility for him just to ensure that they can cut down on these shenanigans and try to end the game soon.
Meanwhile, the real Naga Siren, SC Illusion in the mid lane, pushing it into the base. Alright.
That thing is a lot scarier than the Naga. lot tankier. And now building towards the heart. So already has the one Vitality booster up, more to follow. Lacking the creep wave, but you know, honestly, they might want to just start escorting the waves out to the tower just to ensure there's no cutting. Seems Cloud9 are not going to go for that any longer, though. They are all clustered in the base, ready for the death push.
This is the last defense.
And looking
really.
to take that fight outside the base. They smoke up. They have the vision. They have an idea, an inkling of where Newbee is. Some vision on Mugi. They could set up here with the Psalm. Is that how they want to start the fight? Fada's revealed. He tries to bait around the wave, orbing back the team there. But now Newbee reveal and see most, if not all. They move in with the bristle quickly, coating him in sticky, nasty goo. And now MSS dropping low, brought down by the Pugna. Finished off before the fight even really begins. Cloud9 hesitate. Now they Song, but they're all spread. It's not a good opening for Envy. He just uses this time to get back towards the base, protect this team from the angry Bristleback who charges forward, looking for AI 2000, going up Envy. Naga, as well as the Scorpion, all likely to die. Envy, your song ends now. It's just the fat lady who's going to be singing as Cloud9 get absolutely steamrolled in game one. Base in shambles. They'll buy back, but really, Lumi, it's all over.
Yeah, I think to me this game is, some people debate how much of the draft matters, depending on what game, how much does execution matter. I think
this is like 80-20, I would say.
Yeah, something like that, 90-10 even. It's
yeah.
just,
Jeez.
I mean, that happens, right? You just have a bad draft, you get outdrafted.
Now, it is a very long group stage. You know, 2 groups of 9 teams, so you get, what, a total of 16 games, 8 best-of-2s against all your opponents. Cloud9 start the day 0-3.
I just hurt yourself twice. You Dota 2, my bad.
Together for the people. But guys, thank you for joining us. That is a wrap on game 1. Cloud9 looking a bit flustered, perhaps. Trying to regroup. I mean, obviously, this isn't just one game for them. It's also coming off the OG series. I feel like it was too greedy of a draft. I think Newbee know how to punish. I think against some teams, maybe you can get away with that, but Newbee, they like to play that mid-game. Like, that's really where they want to be applying pressure anyway, so I think that plays a little bit too much into their hands, and Cloud9 are going to adjust if they win.
Yeah, Cloud9's a team that has relatively different style. Their hero pool is very limited. In fact, in the qualifier, they played the smallest hero pool out of every other qualifier team.
Really?
So this is a team that you could kind of predict and know what they're about to draft. However, this is a draft that I didn't expect Cloud9 to be doing coming in. I felt like they tried to throw a curveball and it kind of bounced off the floor and into their own face. Just kind of didn't work out.
Yeah, they almost bounced Envy out of his seat by the looks of things.
He's firmly in his seat right now. He's fine.
Yeah.
Raging Potato trying to get the kills, trying to go for those supports. Blinks in with his Shiva's guard. It looks like he'll get solo.
It's gotten to a point where you can start photoshopping his face onto the hero's face. Plays Dragonite. It feels like Kaka only
We
plays
already
Sun
got the
King, so
Superman.
it's just it's gotten to a point.
Superman Photoshop today. So.
There you go.
Newbees.
We'll see. Nine grabbing their second pick early. This time a different route though. They go for the Bat Rider, so seems like more emphasis on the laning stage already. A bit more balanced in terms of read factor. Almost no matter how else they round out the draft. I think that's a good start to things for them. Newbee already showing their hand as far as supports go, and no real direct counters to the lasso. Grave is, you know, okay.
Yep.
It's not a full counter.
So I guess the quote-unquote counter that's really left available from the off lane is the press the attack from LC, right? Pick that up. Because normally to counter a Bat Rider, you're looking more from support position, like Disruptor Glimpse or the more popular Oracle False Promise, things like that. But immediately we have Cloud9 banning the LC out, so this Bat is going to be very effective in this game, in my opinion.
Yeah, definitely agree there.
Oh, sorry, Nyx Assassin is another one, but phase 1 already taken out. So.
Arc Warden getting removed by Newbee.
5 seconds remaining.
A handful of Arc Warden bans.
Yeah.
Do you think the hero warrants bans? I mean, OG prior to this was really the team I can recall.
I think Faceless played it a couple times on block, but not to... Like,
Any particular reason to do it this game? I mean, maybe it's something Cloud9's shown.
I think as a whole, most teams have been talking about Monkey King and Arc Warden as possible got-em heroes that you could pick to kind of cheese a game out. But it seems like Lich is really the got-em hero, as just pick him all the time. No teams want to really ban him, though.
That is a target ban. Cloud9 removing the Legion, which you mentioned. That seems like a great way to shore up the Bat Rider pick. Then they banned Tide Hunter.
Yep.
Tide is good against Bat on paper, but still not many teams would run him in any situation. Interesting. Not as good at like clearing the Ancients as he used to.
Right.
Not going to grab the Void, so they really just directly take what Newbee was doing last time around and try to do it themselves. Well, you want to pick Lich, we're going to pick Drow, so be again looking to pressure the lanes, again looking to push quite hard here.
So even though this looks kind of like a standard pick, you know, the Lich plus the Faceless Void, for Cloud9 this isn't a standard pick. I was talking to Stan King earlier, the coach for Cloud9. He says Envy's Void has been retired. It's just like not very good. The Chronos are not on point.
An MSS.
Well, MSS is playing bad, right? So
unless it's a mid bat or something. I haven't seen one
I mean,
of those in a
I
while.
guess.
I don't think you want to do that against Puck, who is like 20-something more damage than it.
Unless Sand King is just like telling me false information to double Jabay, or this is Cloud9 perhaps.
I mean,
drafting.
Speaking of double Jabates, if anyone's going to do that, it might be Cloud. They might Jabate themselves.
Yeah, no, Cloud9 is a team that only Jabates himself, right?
Yeah, well, we'll see. But yeah, I think to your point, Cloud9, it feels like they're being forced to play Newbee's game. They're being forced to kind of play this, you know, this emerging meta here at TI, as opposed to dictating their own style. At least so far. You know, we'll see. There's 2 picks to go. They could still take it a very different direction. Grab the Lina.
So this for sure is just the Fada hero, right? And then you just have...
So Fada, Lina, and I think it's an Envy Void.
Yeah, I think so too.
Unretired.
Look, let's... For better or worse, it will be entertaining, to say the least.
Get your 50-50 threads ready, boys.
Oh my goodness, I love the 50-50 threads.
And that there's no one for whom they are more applicable than Jack.
Yeah. So what will be Aui's hero? You know, a hero that has been like just first phase ban against Cloud9, or rather MP back in days, was Aui's Stream Protector, right? Like back in Manila Master, it was the first phase ban, and then people start banning it, and then we just don't see it anymore. I wonder why Cloud9 has kind of just dropped the hero.
It was honestly like Aoi was the Lich.
Just winning,
like,
yeah, he was winning
If
games.
he had a good start, they almost always had a strong lead, and then unless NB threw, they won the game. I'm being unfair to him, but yeah, unless they threw, they generally would win from there. And almost every game they lost, he had a bad start, and obviously, you know, some of that is correlation, but I do feel like a lot of it was just Aoi was integral to the strategy, and he enabled the greed. Like, they could get away with the greedier hero for Pi because he was the tree or the enchantress. Newbee do ban that enchantress.
I mean, if you're up against a tower pushing shred, isn't frost armor and living armor on your building like pretty sick against that kind of scenario?
Yes, but it's maybe a little all in on defending your buildings.
Sure. You look at it. Newbee needing, I presume, a mid hero. Puck could go in the mid, obviously, but generally you see Puck Drow strats, the Puck being the off lane to actually pressure.
That would leave them needing a mid for
Queen of Pain, perhaps, one of his best mid ever. Storm Spirit, a very popular combination that a lot of the Chinese teams like to employ alongside a Drow Ranger. I think LGD in particular loves Drow Storm.
CLOUD9, they waste no time. They are going to grab that lane controller with the bounty, or not lane, like kind of early roamer, I should say, with the bounty hunter.
Kind of like a Treant-esque hero, right? Like just roam around, get information.
It's like a very weak version of Tree, right? At least early. And Newbee, they go beef. They grab the Dusa here for CCC. The chrono counter, maybe just the hardest carry in the game, I would say. Like probably with the Drow backing her up. This is a strong team fight lineup from Newbee, and that seemed to be what CLOUD9 were really going for with the Void Lina Lich.
Also gives you some very strong reassurance against the Chronosphere. If you could pop off your ultimate, your Stone Gaze, as the Chrono flies down, then suddenly Void has a tough job, right? Is he hitting people or is he just running away?
It's tough. Void is not necessarily awful against Dusa. If you're ahead and you get like the Manta Diffuse, you can deal with her pretty well. But
for sure, yeah.
As soon as you start to fall behind, or as soon as your team's not able to burst during Chrono, then everything just crumbles. And it's a Dusa who's going to have a Drow aura backing her off, so likely the laning stage will be strong. She's probably going to farm really well. I imagine they'll give her some early support with the Dazzle. Maybe the Sand King just mid. I doubt we're going to see the Bounty Hunter really pressure too effectively. So, but then you're relying on the Lich. Maybe the Lich is the X factor. I look at this CLOUD9 draft, I just feel like Lich and Bounty Hunter have to get a lot done for them to have a good mid game.
Yep.
Whereas I feel like for the side of Newbee, it's ease of execution, and the checkpoints they have to hit to have a good mid game are much lower.
So before this game kind of get on the way, I do want to talk about Medusa in terms of his item build, because we're all very familiar with the traditional Medusa going into late game and just outright clicks, out carries your enemy lineup. But recently, from the LGD squad, maybe has been playing some next level Medusa, going for the Lincoln's Manta Ags build into a Hex. Remember that game that would cast an MDL?
Yeah.
The utility Medusa build.
The Ags has been all the rage, I would say, with the Chinese Medusa players, and we've seen a couple different teams do that build, I want to say.
Yeah.
Maybe probably the most successful of them. But yeah, I think the Ags is super legit.
So I wonder if we're going to see something like that, because the Ags in particular makes you very tanky, but also the stone, it turns them into stone briefly, and then allowing your team to actually get off all of them extra right clicks and stuff.
There were quite a few cases where, like, I think it was even a Dusa versus a Void, where like the Void would go into Chrono, and then he gets hit by that initial snake, he gets turned to stone. Right as the Chrono gets dropped, they don't quite kill the Dusa, or she gets off the Stone Gaze when they Chrono, then that's wasted, and then you're trying to run, and this obnoxious snake keeps on hitting you, briefly turn you into stone, and you have a Drow, right? So, like, a lot of those games, in fact, all of them, I don't even think there was a Drow with the Dusa. Just like a casual Dusa.
Can Aoi steal the rune?
Not a la carte Dusa. No, he will not be able to. Triple bounty rune grab for Newbee.
He's going to hit him a couple of times. Medusa, one of the slower moving heroes with the Orb of Venom. That's half his HP.
Great start for Aoi. Obviously would love to get a courier snipe, but Newbee seemed disciplined. We saw a lot of courier snipes in that MD. I don't know if teams were just playing a little sloppy. They forgot about how much others like. This is TI, and at least so far, disciplined.
Very rare to see bounty hunters not coming out with some sentries of his own. Generally, you see a sentry battle in the mid lane, but SC drops a sentry, and Aoi knows there's nothing to do there anymore, and heal. Basically, I think track the movement of Kaka for this game. He's going to make sure that Kaka does not help mid and give fodder the 1v1 that he wants.
So Newbee are running a safe lane puck now. KP taking that up. Obviously, this will not be fun for Envy. They are running the off-lane Drow, so KP already hitting for almost 70 a pop. Aoi perhaps could change that, but Kaka's there to back him up, so this feels like a pretty tough Void game if this is the way the lanes are going to be set up. Already see Kaka applying that early pressure.
I'm surprised by the fact that Lich isn't on the bottom. Like, I think it's totally fine to run the Void in the off lane, but give him the help, right? So I imagine eventually Lich will make it down here, but
I guess you put the Lich down there, then I don't know, the Bat has a bad time maybe, but
yeah, I guess that is the real issue, right? One of the lanes is going to have a bad time.
I'd probably rather my Void have a good start than the Bat though, right? Because the Bat can catch up in the jungle. Whereas for Void, that's not the easiest thing to do.
I think you could make an argument either way, because the Bat, to me, comes online a little bit faster to actually, let's say, kill Drow Ranger a couple times, slow down the push. So it comes down to what you think is more important.
So you're going to try to make a move here on Sccc momentarily, but he already has the Mana Shield. Harassment for now. Little kill potential here while the Deuce is relatively low. Poke him down to the critical threshold and then make that decisive move. Meanwhile, top Faith caught out. Could be in trouble here. This would be a big opportunity. He goes to the grave, but don't think he's getting out of this one. MSS on the verge of scoring a first blood and will secure it. Might trade his own life, though, with the tower hitting him on the way out. Or might just get a Drow kill as well. Mugi with 3 napalm stacks. He will end up falling in the end. I think the touch finishing him off there, maybe a attack. So, well, MSS dies. Faith, I think, respawned this time to get that.
Maybe.
Low level.
Ooh, Burrow Strike. Kaka finds a kill on the courier.
Had a salve on it. He is now a sad man.
That is his salve, I imagine.
I would think.
Walk of shame back to the fountain. Correct.
Void not having a good time here. 8 and 3 in the CS department. Same time now there's the Drow. Mugi's only 6 and 2. And mid lane is still going fine. So Cloud9 actually doing reasonably well in the CS department. But with these kills, or at least, and with the courier snipe, it's not the best start. Okay. So Lumi, looking at the two lineups, and we can maybe paint the bigger picture as far as strategy goes. How do you view each team's game plan, and like what are their key objectives and moving forward?
Hold on. Highlight Eye might be in trouble. He turns around and straight up fights here. Aoi maybe in position to cut KP off. The orbs are available. And out he goes. Cloud9, I think, just off the laning stage, they want to get this bounty big enough where they can run around the map and kill people and prevent the push from happening. And Newbee wants to actually get a 5-man going. So to me, this game is about whether Newbee can 5-man and whether Cloud9 can repel it or prevent them from joining up in the first place. Because once SC gets his first item, once Drow gets the first item, it's really hard to fight into Newbee because of Stone Gaze and Coil and all that jazz.
UI unfortunately going to run right by a ward here with the DD rune up on Sccc. A trombone for his HP, which is now pitiful territory. A little bit early to sign up. But the other thing for Newbee, I guess, is like you maybe don't expect them to have the best laning stage early. It's just once the Drow gets levels and the Deuce levels up, all of a sudden it's just so much easier to farm and last hit and catch up.
They have a Drow, right? So their laning should be fine. In fact, I'm somewhat surprised that they're not getting as many CS. But now with the lane switch, Mugi should be pretty much hitting CS for free, and he is.
I've generally seen with these Deuce mid, sometimes they start off a little slow, but once they get to like level, like around like that 8 to 15 minute mark is where they really start to ramp up the CS. Like the enemy will leave the gank, wants to sit there. The Drow obviously gets higher levels, which helps produce, and then things go.
Yep. And as our TI production value was showing earlier, there are a couple Radiant stacks in the jungle that a Batrider hopefully could steal, but at the same time, Dusa will easily up eventually.
If only Bun7 were here, he'd be farmed. Well, maybe not at level 3, but yeah, with this BOTs.
Or Bone 322. So
That's just
I'm just saying it like it is, you know. Or ancient stacking here, SC.
Yeah, it's just stack Dota for Newbee, really, right? I guess the big question is, like, how much will Cloud9 be able to contest these? They have the bounty hunter can run around and leave some XP. You know, they have some ability to clear those stacks themselves. Not the best against ancient. Will that be a priority for Cloud?
Now, one thing I do want to mention about Fada and the way that he plays Lina is fairly different from most other Lina players out there. Really loves taking the 125 cast range talent and going for the Yules first. Generally, he finishes around 12, 13 minutes and just go off the mountain.
They're going to make the move here. Kaka burrow forward onto Envy. They do not have the level 6 on KP.
Yeah.
Surprised they tried to that without. I guess just harassment in the end, as Kaka will be scouted out by these pesky creeps, going to be forced to pay for the time being. We'll see, continuing to stack up his Ancient. So, I mean, Lumi, you mentioned at the beginning of the series, Cloud9 is all about economy. Like, that's just their hallmark, their calling card as a Dota team. I feel like Newbee is in better position to play the economy game.
I agree. When you have those strong laning stages, have more opportunity to do stuff. MB's going to get silenced up, but he just jumps away. Ironic thing is that Cloud9 has a Lich. Like you should have the lanes more in your favor when you do have it, but looks like a Drow much more effective in this kind of more passive laning phase.
Maybe the Lich will prove kind of added value later on when the push really starts to ramp up with the Frost Armor. Will try to slow things down top, but KP and Kaka have gotten a nice wave going. There's not a whole lot of deep push for Cloud9. In fact, Twilight dies in danger. Envy doesn't have his Chrono yet. He's so damn close. He just needs a couple more creeps to get the level 6. And now, level 6 secured. He could drop the bubble. He will. In comes the Lina. This could be a two-hero takedown. Oh. Nicely played by Fada. They will get both. Envy getting level 6 at exactly the right moment. And a noble sacrifice as Pilot Die throws himself into the bottomless pit. Greater good.
You know that's when Pilot, that's how he plays. He doesn't throw other into the pit, just himself.
If he could, he would have just cast Sacrifice on himself to give.
I believe Ali was able to snipe a quarter simultaneously in that fight, so good stuff here from Cloud9, catching back up. He is
Of course, that was Highlight Die's old claim to fame, was his consistent. Envy goes Mask of Madness. Now, Lumi, I know we cast a game earlier where we really liked the build because there was basically no physical damage.
Right.
I think this is a different game in that regard.
For sure. There's a lot of physical damage coming out from the Drow, and that's so the rest of the team. But at the same time, we gotta judge Mask of Madness like a farming item, right? Just you don't turn it on when you're getting hit, but you can definitely turn it on when you're going through the jungle, and it will accelerate your farm tremendously.
This tower top is about to drop. Newbee looking for the dive. They want Pilot Die. He's not level 6 yet, so they can commit for this. Don't have to worry about that Chain Frost. They'll bring him down. KP orbing through as Kaka gets hounded by Envy on the retreat. Simultaneously, Faith being forced back. He's got the stick, doesn't have a TP. No exit plans for him. So the strategy will be run in and feed the tower instead. Kaka making it back to safety. No one else from Newbee looking to help them just yet. The Drow sitting bottom, the Deuce is sitting mid. And that is kind of the trick here for Newbee, is if it comes to a larger scale engagement, some of their heroes are just not online right now.
Won't be online for a while. Lina, I did mention that he loves to go for the cast range and Yule's build, but looks like he's going to go for the more standard Bloodstone build. He did that earlier today as well when they picked Lina for him. Although, catching on some part of the game, he was like 4 Bloodstone charge, so ultimately didn't work out too well for him in that game. Let's see if it goes a little bit better.
They're trying to steal this Ancient stack. This big. Gonna roast it with the Lina Batrider combo. Some easy early creep kills, and now the Napalm stacking up. Will there be a contest? I'm not sure Newbee realized this is happening, but at the same time, MSS can't really tank it. He drops low, burrowing in quickly. The Sand King is gonna die. The Snake comes through, and now the coil deployed. He's caught 2. Phase shift dodge, beautifully done by KP. Slaughters Fada, now looking for AUI as well. They plop down the sentry to get off the poison touch. Will he get out of range? It looks like he can. No dust, no more sentries. He's out of there.
That poison though, still ticking.
They steal about half the Yaphets. We'll be okay. At least we're not less KP.
Stray rating
less
whiff.
KP.
Okay.
He tries for it. He's gonna have an orb soon. One more shot.
Owie.
He gives up. He felt completely fenced in. You know, almost every angle you could go, he would end up likely dying, or just spending hours getting back to base. So the dust settles. Newbee salvage it. They did lose a decent amount of their ancient. I don't think that was too bad for them.
Cleverly laid trap on the bottom for Kaka. Kaka will get Nova. He will have Burrow Strike, and he bounces away from the Chain Frost. All right, Kaka. Good play. Interesting to see the Sand King has the Epicenter skilled up. Not something you commonly see, as most people are more worried, like, let's say, taking up an extra point in Caustic or even Sandstorm, but we'll have it available this game. Top lane, Foil has been dropped. Envy going for the kill here. Does he have enough damage?
Sure about that. Time walk, or rather, orbing back. Envy now. Thank you, creeping here with the Mask of Madness active, and Faith is looking to punish with the Poison Touch. Level 1, but still damage. Meanwhile, the chip continues. This has been really, like, to me, the true Newbee approach to this game, Illumi. It's like whenever there's a fight happening in one place in the map, the rest of the team just pushes elsewhere. Sccc slowly plugging away at mid. The same thing's been happening bottom all game, that tier 1 is down to 240 health. The top tower obviously was taken earlier, so it's kind of like hidden damage. You know, you see the kills, you see the courier snipes. That on, you know, on the surface is what's really happening, but the true game plan is unfolding off camera for them.
Kaka also off of CLOUD9's camera for now. No, they got sentries. Very much so on camera. They got the track available as well. They're going to bring him down. Laguna Blade comes in. That is a 3-man track kill. The greed is online, for sure.
Yeah, this game, their greed is not just like hoping for farming time. You know, it's actually just going out and getting kills. So I think that's one area where it's much more sustainable greed. But at the same time, they do a bit of a Deuce problem here. Already she is the leader in net worth after, to be honest, getting dumpstered a little bit by Fada early. Sccc is completely caught up, and this is what I was mentioning earlier. Like, I've seen this at least 4 or 5 times in the last couple of months, that Deuces who have a bad laning stage doesn't seem to matter. They always come back, and they do so. Leader in CS, leader in net worth. Cloud9 don't have the best tools to kill a Deuce at this stage of the game. Maybe later on with the Diffusal Blade, a Manta, and the Void. Try, but for now, pass.
Yep. I mean, ultimately, though, they still have the Bat Rider. You could just kind of drag him into your team and just burst him down. Graves starts to become an issue.
Graves becomes an issue. You say burst, but... Oh, another Radiant Courier Snipe.
Is that 2 so far?
I think they've lost it twice. Cloud9's lost it. Tanky killed her. Yeah. 3 Courier Snipes this game.
Always effective. Stealing runes, sniping couriers. This is kind of pretty much what you want from your bounty, unless you're also just tracking and getting a bunch of kills. Both gank up top. Envy. Does he have the game sense?
Be tough. They're moving into position now. 1 Frost Arrow.
On the mask and run.
Retreat. He might have to drop the Chrono. Oh, Burrow Strike coming through. Envy juking away.
Where did he go?
I think they know too. They scan, they reveal him. He's in the neighborhood, but Newbee gets scared as they realize more reinforcements could be coming in soon, so they're not going to force the issue further. Remember, some of this is just buying time for the Dusa, who's sitting in the jungle, farming happily away. KP, who doesn't have a blink yet. UI moves. Vinvis tucks himself out of vision of that ward nearby.
Yeah, he's already clicked on 2 of the heroes. There is no detections. Kaka does have Dust, though, so he's got to be super careful. Dusty's dead. Cancel the TP. Okay, he does cancel the TP. Here comes a Chrono, and he is going to go for the kill. Envy does have enough damage this time.
Could have been a track kill, so small missed opportunity there. But still, TP cancels. Ralph picks off. That is a big win, and now it will be a track kill on Kaka as he gets scouted out, running towards the shrine and punished. Did not expect them to dive him that far. Vision, Kurt. Still, Dusa is farming, you know. Creeps. She'll be here all day. They are about to take their last outer tower, tier 1 down. And they still have all of their own. And I think, Lumi, the more I look at this game, that's my biggest question for Cloud9 is how will they be taking objectives? They are abysmal at pushing. Only Lina, who's any good, and has no damage buffs of any kind.
I think Void's not bad because simply he will just pick up attack speed and just damage items. I think Cloud9 is going to be the team that pushes after a one team fight. I don't think they could just group up and push into Newbee, whereas Newbee has the ability to do both. So I think Cloud9 is more worried about winning fights rather than pushing out, because if you do win the fights, the push will come.
Faith went on a bit of a wording journey, thinking about it. Walking around with this invis rune. He builds his own jungle, builds his own spike. So they're starting to get these key items. While the top lane Kaka does get caught out, and yep, Cloud9 will finish it off.
This is like the third or fourth time they set up the same gank for Kaka, right? They just wait for him to finish his sandstorm.
Probably the slowest blink I've ever seen from Kaka.
Yep.
Already, and you know he doesn't.
15 minutes is generally his standard time, which is pretty fast for any 4 position, but he gets it very reliably.
Maybe it's been banned so much against him lately that he's forgotten how to play.
I think it's more Cloud9 just setting up like super dedicated ganks time and time after again. So
we're gonna look for the Mugi pick here. Good silence. TP out. He'll make it away. Bottom of his Bloodstone now. Very good timing for him, and looking to apply the pressure. He'll push through at this bottom tier 1. Zeroing in on the first tower game. Something desperately need a little game. Like anyone's looking to defend this tower for now, as the dire scan reveals KP. He jumps into the wave, then he blinks out and right into the waiting arms. So Mojo storms down.
Whoa.
The Chrono almost got dragged out of it. Cloud9. But a heart attack the way they're playing, but kill.
Cloud9 keeping all their fans on a 50-50, you know. You just don't know. Aoi going for a bounty rune, sees a Drow Ranger and decides against it.
I'll take that.
I like to pick up here on Aoi with the Medallion Courage. Normally you see pretty common for Greaves, but with the Medallion gives them the ability to actually go for a Roshan sneak. Speaking of Roshan, it's actually Newbie going into it.
I mean, you know Chrono's on cooldown, right?
True.
You even know Lasso's unavailable for a minute, so why not? You're gonna coil here, commit, try to bring down Aoi, force him to TP away, coil snap. It's gonna be enough to finish him off. Meanwhile, Envy just farming up Ancient. This is a pretty quick Roshan. Of course, that double damage rune, that's Cccc, doesn't hurt. Crucial moment like this, there's a Chain Frost ready. Twilight Die, getting warned back. We close in. Is there sort of steal potential here? MSS has the blink. They do have the track on the Cccc, and no real opportunity. Mugi gets the Aegis, so now 2 very difficult to get. But Prada was pushing from 0 towers to 10.
Even though that Newbie got the Aegis, it's not, to me, very clear whether that's a good trade for them. Cloud9, as we saw exhibiting in the last game, one thing that they're very good at is just split pushing and making Newbie go back repeatedly to defend. There can be a scenario where Newbie doesn't even get to use that Aegis in a manner that's beneficial to him.
What is the timeline here for Newbie, Lumi? Trying to set up on that Cccc. They're going to make the move, lead us down to start things off, quickly chewing through his Mana Shield.
It's not even close.
Only getting through the Mana Shield, and that's it. They do not even really scratch the HP, and now Fada's been caught out here. He's been coiled. Kaka moving into position. The stun's a bit early. Fada's in trouble. He's been up more than he can chew, and he's going to pay with some Bloodstone charges. Dropping 4, down to 8. Zowie hides in the trees. Did not see out here while that was happening. Mugi rotate top to hold this tower. And, I mean, that is, you know, that is the conversation we're going to continue to have, is can they kill Cccc? He continues to farm, continues to get beefier. Still a shallow grave to back him up in some of these fights. We'll have bonus armor, additional heals, time to time. Maybe if Envy gets farmed, could be different. But for now, we'll find this case.
Chronos for just for a puck. I guess for Cloud9, they're happy. Oh, Burrow Strike, allowing SC to TP out. Kaka's going to throw his life away. Can they get off a track? Bounty Hunter a little bit far away here, and that's going to be...
for that track, maybe?
I think they're literally waiting for the track. Hit him a couple of times, cancel that Blink Dagger. And Kaka smartly runs into the tower.
Saves his team about 400 gold there.
Yeah.
Dire's middle tower is under attack.
Only an MV team would be like, don't kill him, wait for the track.
I'm a little worried for Newbee at just how many kills they're giving up. Like, especially on these tempo controllers. You know, Puck, no Yules yet. That's been delayed by some of his deaths. The Sandkid Blink only now finally coming online. 5-6 minutes late. Could be problematic as the game continues. They're going to find an opportunity here. They lasso up Fate. Stone Gaze comes in though, and that's going to force Cloud9 on their heels, but that's a big cooldown to commit. Maybe they still chase further. Wrapping around. Backstab, he's got the stick charges. But on the other side of the fight, 3-man coil. No one to combo with this. KP just buying time, I guess. Team to get in position, and ultimately the game revolves around the tower kills, and Newbee will grab that tier 2 top. So, happy for them.
Yeah, MV working on the tier 1 mid. Unfortunately, not enough damage to actually take it down.
That's my worry for Cloud9. They're slow at pushing.
Yeah. To me, that was just a very good reaction from Team Newbee. Dust is going to clip Aoi. He's found right now. He doesn't have a teleport score out. He's just dead.
Yeah, Burrow Strike coming through as Triple C joining the fray, and Aoi down. Take a freebie. Norb for the Dusa. Manta style en route. Drow with the DD, and that might push. This Aegis, though, is about to reach its expiration date, about a minute and a half remaining. So if Newbee want to go for that next tier 2, best do so now.
I mean, so far it didn't seem like they even need the Aegis, so...
I'm not feeling like the Frost Armor is doing all that much, Libby.
I mean, when there's a double damage Rao hitting for like close to 400.
It's also... no, it is a max ISR. Yeah, I don't know. On paper, it's a good counter to push strats, but...
I think counter is a very strong word. It slows things down.
Deterrent.
Yeah, it's not... You know, when
soft
it's...
counter.
Soft, yeah.
Soft
It checks
silky,
it a little bit.
Counter.
There you go.
Too silky.
Oh, MB cancels his TP. They know he's here.
Ping's coming out. The Radiant scan a bit deeper. Why must you do this to your fans?
MV's gonna like walk into the next sweep wave and start cutting it. That would be an MV thing to do, wouldn't it?
Get their third courier snipe game.
Okay. I mean, the ward will see the courier flying in. Think he's gonna get baited?
That would be a classic.
Backdoor tier 1.
He's up on the high ground now. Pilot died there to break the smoke. I actually saw this now. Kaka jumping in with the Blink Dagger. Actually walks the wrong way, then comes back to find the Burrow Strike angle. As Mushi chasing forward, needs one more set of Frost Arrow auto attacks to get the kill. And meanwhile in the mid lane, Envy going for the tower backdoor. He's going to get clipped by a coil here. Quickly time walking away, but the chase is on now. The Burrow Strike comes through, but it's right as the Yule Scepter's been silence is there. And Envy shenanigans get laid to rest. A death for him. Really, it was pretty... just didn't seem necessary to commit your one position to backdooring a tower.
So you know what happened there? Like, he saw Pi was being gone on, so I was like, okay, you know what? I'll trade Pi for a tower, right? So he went on the tier 1 tower. Fada took down the tier 1 top tower simultaneously, so they glyphed it once, and then they glyphed it again. Envy is like, what the hell? He's getting triggered. So basically, the towers survived for 10 seconds without any damage being taken. And
so you're saying that was really Fada's fault?
That's just how it happened. I don't want to point any fingers, but... Envy getting baited by double glyph.
Well, if he wants to be efficient now, he can think about how to avoid that scenario next time. Death timer to be productive, you know. Dusa continue to farm Lumi as Triple C up to 50k net worth. Now another 600 mana unlocked with that talent. More and more ridiculously hard to kill. Scotty is not too far off.
SC is not a subscriber of the... Oh, that's obvious. Last one up onto the cliff.
Chain Frost committed. Good Chrono follow-up. They do get the Dazzle kill, but it also means no Chrono available now. And coming back in 30... Well, I thought it was a good follow-up. I thought they'd go for more, but damage to kill this Deuce, so all of a sudden it looks like there could be a high ground push coming, and I don't know if they can defend it without Chronosphere or Chain Frost.
Yeah. You know, when we finished the draft, we expected Cloud9 to be able to fight better alongside the Chronosphere, but it just doesn't seem like, in practice, that's what's happening.
I mean, you could see the idea of the Chrono, right? It keeps the team away so they can't help the Dazzle. It sets up for that next kill, but the problem is it was a Deuce. Yep. It's not a killable hero.
Oh, here comes the high ground.
Next ultimate orb, 2k HP, 1.7k mana. Effective HP, not quite over 9,000, but certainly getting there.
Throw strike finds him. Silence is going to be available. Envy tries to jump out the silence of boundary, and can he jump? He does. The coil also not snapping at the very tail end of it. They survive.
Newbee wasting precious seconds when they could just be hitting towers, now trying to get back to that CCC out in front in this bottom lane. Not ready to break the base yet, but if they had Aegis there, they might have tried.
Can we revisit the bounty hunter pick real fast? How effective do you think it's been? He sniped the courier a couple of times. He's given his team, you know, a little bit of extra gold and vision, but
okay, so the idea of the bounty hunter is twofold, right? It's like the vision game and just kind of that like buying time for your team is probably the main reason why Cloud9 like it. Secondarily, can help shore up your income, track kills. The issue I see with it is mainly around the, well, okay, so it's two things. First of all, Newbee won a 5-man, like you said, right? So
and bounty's not good against that.
How useful is the vision when, like, you know where they are? They're all 5 marching down
hitting your buildings.
Hitting your buildings.
Yeah.
And the second thing is when they're actually, when you're going for those pickoffs, you have a lot of long cooldowns, right? You've Chain Frost, you've Chrono. Those are like 2 of your big pick-off abilities that ideally you want to, especially the Chrono, that you want to use, and then as soon as you use them, you've just opened the door for them to go for that big push. So that's, I think, where I worry a little about the bounty pick, and I'm not sure it fits that well, but I think also Cloud9 may have been anticipating, like, we've got Lich, we've now picked our bounty, we're really good in the early game with bounty, and all these roaming heroes for Aoi, like the tree you mentioned earlier, we're going to win the lanes, and then we're going to be able to just constantly keep them down in the mid game.
Right.
And I just, obviously that part of it never happened.
I mean, I don't want to beat a dead horse, but I think Treant being played the exact same way by AUI would just do better. Like, the Living Armor in particular is going to help them out quite a bit. Having an extra AoE ultimate wouldn't hurt, helping out Chain Frost and all that jazz. But this bounty to me looks a little stranded. In fact, he is very stranded, as Roshan is being done by Newbee, relatively just for free.
Normally you see a lineup with Batrider Void, and it's like, this is a great lineup to take fights at the pit. All the cooldowns are ready, but
Kaka?
not the case, as they did smoke from the Roche pit and set up shop in the bottom lane. The TP rotation from KP forces out the seppuku from Fada. Bloodstone deny, but now down to only 6 charges. Roshan already claimed. Aegis went to Sccc. Now the death push might be coming.
Yeah, this time it's going to be Dusa with the Aegis. She sits in the front.
And the Scotty, it's almost ready.
Yeah. You pretty much have to drag her into the tier 4s and have Lina alive to burst him down. That's just the first life. I have no idea how the hell Cloud9 is going to kill my second life.
Just feels like the Frost Armor is only delaying the inevitable right now, as Cccc laying into this tower mid, confident up in the front lines, the team backing him up. Chrono will be ready. Glyph is now committed. All cooldowns available, and they're going to try to start the party with the big, deep lasso, but a coil ensures that Sccc can't get picked too much farther. Counters that initiation. Then the puck goes in, feeds the track kill away. Really wanted to save Sccc. Sccc probably saying, like, I was fine, man. I'm Medusa with an Aegis. I have to worry so much about me. I got this, but...
Incidentally, I think killing the puck there did a lot more than going for the Dusa kill. Because the Dusa just laughed off that initiation.
I think even if the puck didn't coil there,
he was fine.
Maybe he drops to half health. Maybe. And there's, remember, there's Grave. Like, they didn't go for the Dazzle. He's going to get that off. And then there's a second life, even if somehow it didn't. Yeah, in retrospect, probably KP shouldn't have forced that, but still Newbee at the Aegis, so they can still group up again and go for another push.
you see your carry being jumped on, you know, it's very understandable that he made the play that he did. It's not gonna waste too much time as he's gonna be back alive right now. He's gonna port to the shrine and the bottom push continues. I have no clue how Cloud9 is gonna be able to defend. I guess their best bet is to wait out the Aegis.
How do you feel about Envy's choice to go back for a Blink Dagger this game? The Void.
Because I think the obvious counterpoint is that they are already lacking in damage. And even if you get a good Chronosphere, I'm not sure whether that's enough.
I guess the way I'm looking at it is like, is there even an opportunity to get a good one? Going in the front, it's going to be Deuce way in front of the team, right? So you almost have to backstab them. Maybe if he smokes. Maybe
that's the plan, right? You backstab, you look for a 4-man Chrono in the back and just win. The problem is, you might be able to jump past SC, the rest of the team can't. So,
yeah, you get this perfect Chrono and then Lich like...
And then SC just ults.
He phase boots in to get off his pit frog.
Alright, here we go. They jump him in into the tier 4. Coil happens again.
I feel like we already saw this movie, but this time the puck's not committing. Yeah. Back away. Sccc loses maybe 10% of his health and mana. 1 range racks down. Melee racks next on the list, but they are going to need this creep wave, which is not much. He's not taking damage, Newbee. Suddenly he's got another 2,000 gold. He's well on his way into the Eagle Song. That halfway to the butterfly. Try to nuke him a little.
He just doesn't care. He's standing in the front.
Vada is giving this everything he's got. You know, he's got the max fiery soul stacks up right now. He took the plus 50 damage talent. It just tickles as MSS jumps in, but he got stunned. The Chrono's now committed. They go for that pesky Drow Ranger, but even she's tanky. She's got cheese. She's got Grave. She's not gonna die. And now Sccc tries to turn the tides here. He is gonna unleash his ultimate. They will get still the Sand King kill gem scooped up, but the push keeps on going. Chrono is now down. For Newbee, they're fine if there's no big ultimates ready. They hit harder. They have the physical damage, so they don't care about not having this Deuce ult. They will take the melee. They
need to catch people now, right now. Maybe wait for SC's Aegis to trigger. No, Fata's getting hit really hard. He gets forced into the Deuce. Not that way, Fata. He's going to go down. He will die. 60 seconds despite having the Bloodstone. Coil hits on 2 on the back line here. Pylai die. Pylai dead. As MSS, that's his buyback. So if he dies, he's going to be out for a while. Envy on the back line jumps away, but that's all of his escape. Envy's going to go down eventually as well.
Another one bites the dust. Cloud9 about to go 0-4 to open the group stage here. Newbee steamrolling them again. It's just been a simple game plan of push. Game 1 was a faster tempo, but it's been the same strategy, and Cloud9 seem totally unprepared to deal with this type of 5-man and this type of tower pressure.
Yeah. I don't want to take anything away from Newbee. Obviously, they've been playing very solid, but to me, this is Cloud9 not living up to their potential. It's not the Cloud9 that, you know, took the #1 seed in the NA qualifiers. Something's got to change very quickly.
Or maybe it is, and NA Dota is just not in a great place right now. Pylai died, meanwhile about to go down. Kaka will get that pick. MSS did find the lasso opportunity, but will the follow-up be there? They try to bring down Mushi. They will successfully do so. Still though, KP, Dusa, sitting around, having a party. They're going to focus on this melee racks. They'll bring that down as well. 3 melee racks down. Mega creeps on the horizon. Cloud9 some flailing buybacks, but oh, by the way, she's got a butterfly. It hasn't even arrived yet. Sccc, even without it, I don't think he dies, and certainly with it, there's no chance. A courier snipe is really what they need right now to have a chance, but bash after bash, Envy can only get him down to half, and he just mantles it off, shrugs his way out of that damage, and on to the mega creeps. Cloud9 has been completely dismantled here. The butterfly did arrive in the midst of this fight, and he keeps on dishing out the damage. Just Sccc, just an unstoppable tower in this fight. They finally will finish him, it looks like.
Oh my god.
Almost killed their whole team.
What, KP? KP going in? Does he see Aoi? Alright, Aoi's dead. Oh. He's got the gem.
Salt in the wound.
And waiting Rift. Okay, it's right click. Coil. I think Envy might just die here. Envy. Okay.
There's an orb. There's an orb.
Oh, how did you miss?
Envy with that fancy footwork.
Envy just stood there. That is the most fancy footwork I've seen.
Unfortunately, the buildings don't have fancy footwork options, so they're just dying. Creeps are quickly massacring them. I rate the comeback percentage opportunity here, Lumi, at about 0.00001%.
Sounds about right.
The worst late game. Very mediocre D push. The hardest carry is by far the most farmed hero, almost 8k net worth ahead. Or sorry, more like 6k net worth ahead of your carry.
But you got a Lich. You got Frost Armor.
You got a dead Fada. It's caught out. Maybe not dead just yet, though. The team doesn't want to fully commit on this because Envy's gotten into the backlines. He's proving quite the problem here. Perhaps Newbee also feeling like I am that this game is won. We can't
track him first. This there you go.
This is unlosable. But there is a bounty hunter, so careful. I mean, you know, tier 4s are dying. Tier 4s are dying.
Tier 4 is but yet another building. That's fine.
This is all tactical.
Yep.
Part of grand strategy for Newbee. Let them chase our heroes, and we'll just kill your buildings. It is, I mean, honestly, it's pretty clear that this has to be completely thrown. I don't really see that happening with the Stone Gaze. Cloud9 trying for an opportunity here on the Drow, but they're going to get punished by the Stone Gaze. Now they jump forward. KP looking to finish off Fada. He'll do so successfully now. The silence on Envy. He manages to get that Blink Dagger off, retreat. Now Owie on the run as well. He's been silenced up. Slows come through, and Cloud9 decide it is indeed checkmate, an exposed throne. Creeps wailing away at it. They've given up Megas. They've dropped their 4th game. They now have to, have a meeting of the minds. What is Stanton going to have up his sleeve to get things back on track? I think he needs 5 sleeves right now. I don't know if one's going to be enough.
Yeah, I don't know. When we saw Cloud9 first pick the Lich, I poked over Sanking. He's like, "What's this Lich first pick about?" He's like, "I don't know. This is not what we scream." So this is definitely...
So if the coach is saying he doesn't know what something's about and then the team is doing it does make you a little nervous.
At the same time, as a coach, you don't want to tell a caster what you're doing, right? So he could be debating me.
Yeah, okay, so you think he's... Okay.
He might be. I don't know. Like, I don't want to give the wrong information, but what is definitely true for Cloud9 is I believe this is not their potential and they need to evolve very rapidly.
I do think this is exactly what I expected from Newbee, which is a very stable team that, you know, isn't necessarily going to bust out like some crazy like Meepo pick or something you never expect, but much more so, you know, a team that just has a very stable, solid way of playing. They do tend to favor their mid-game timing pushes. They like to group up, but they're very smart about how they lane and itemize, and I just view them as a solid team. Solid is the word I use to describe Newbee, and I think if they keep on playing like this,